Hey, how's it going, y'all? This is Michael T. I am the Director of Teacher Support for Y1, and I have the pleasure of serving South Early College High School, specifically Mr. Alvarez's Y1 cohort. So one of you guys actually emailed me a bunch of interview questions, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. The first question is, how did you find out about OneGoal? Well, I actually learned about it from my mentor teacher. I think I was a first or second year teacher at that point, teaching biology and AP Environmental Science. And the teacher next door, Miss Gardner, was actually a OneGoal program director. And she described it as 1, her biggest headache, and 2, her greatest joy in teaching. Question number 2, does OneGoal give scholarships? No, it does not. However, I am a board member for a scholarship, the 11th and a Half Foundation. We do have connections with other networks that are involved in scholarship programs, and we strongly encourage students to apply for those scholarships. 3, how have you seen this program work? Well, I was a program director. I saw it work with my 30-plus fellows. Our college enrollment and persistence rate was nearly 10 times higher than their peers at the same school. As a director of teacher support, I have the really cool job of visiting classrooms around the city and working with amazing teachers and students that really do see themselves in a positive light and believe that they can achieve their post-secondary aspirations. Is OneGoal available only in low-income or higher-risk schools? This one's a little tricky because I think a lot of folks, when they hear low-income or higher risk, I then ask myself, like, how do they perceive themselves? So I think we are geared towards students of marginalized backgrounds, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of our students are low-income or high-risk students. Our students are simply, usually, folks that are underrepresented in the college landscape. Our students are usually students that could use a boost in their GPA or their SAT. I mean, who can't? It only increases the chances of getting admission as well as like a scholarship. And so we tend to target underrepresented students. So those might be first-generation students. Those might be students of color. Those might be students that qualify for free or reduced lunch. But we don't exclusively target those types of students. And I believe it actually is better when you have a little bit of diversity, because then you're able to walk along that journey with someone that might have a different perspective as you or a different background. And then you are then able to broaden your own perspective and realize what's out there. Let's see. What do you hope that we, the students, get out of the OneGoal program? Man, I hope that you guys are able to come up with a great list of post-secondary institutions. I hope that you guys are really able to ground yourselves on your own values and your purpose, and be comfortable with like maybe not knowing all the answers, but being willing to explore what's out there. And then I hope that you guys are able to really dig deep and build up some self-discipline and self-efficacy and really have this growth mindset and just learn as much as possible about what's out there for you guys, because you have so much talent and potential, and it's just tapping into that and realizing how to navigate through these systems so that you're able to unlock your full potential and really achieve your greatest aspirations. Let's see. What questions or doubts do you have about this program? Ooh, this is an interesting question. Let's see. I sometimes question like the day-to-day stuff, like, okay, how are we going to incorporate all this new curriculum in here? And I'm really excited about it, but it's like the how piece is usually the questions that I have. Do I have any doubts? No, not really. I mean, as a nonprofit, we're always kind of like asking for money from our donors. And so like I guess one question that I would have is like, how could we sustain ourselves financially in the long term? How to build up that sustainability so that we could continue to serve students. So if you know anyone that's willing to donate to OneGoal, hit us up. Let's see. How could you use things to learn about the community you are in? How could you use things to learn about the community you are in? I don't get the question. I'm going to just skip it. Why is the focus mainly on going to college rather than graduating high school? Well, actually, the focus isn't mainly on going to college. The focus is on figuring out what post-secondary pathway that is for you, whether it is a 4-year degree or a 2-year or a technical, vocational, or even military. That's the focus. It's like that every young person in America has an equitable opportunity to achieve their greatest post-secondary aspiration. So whether that's college, 2-year, technical, vocational, military, career, whatever it may be, it's their choice, and that they have an equitable opportunity. And the focus versus like graduating high school, man, like economically speaking, someone that does hold a bachelor's degree over the course of their lifetime, they're able to garner $1 million more than someone who graduated with just a high school diploma. And so I think it's an investment that is worth making. So even if you have to take like, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of loans, do it the right way. Make sure first of all, that you're trying to secure as many grants and scholarships, and you're doing work study and all of that. But if you do have to take out some loans, see it as an investment in your future. People take out loans for cars. People take out loans for houses. People take out loans for their education. A loan for a car, man, that depreciates so quickly. A loan for your house, yeah, if you're lucky, it's going to appreciate over time. And a loan for your education, that is definitely going to pay off in the long run, but you just have to stick with it. And again, it's just for a greater economic opportunity versus having just the high school diploma. Let's see, is OneGoal only available for people who want to go to college? I think I just answered that one. I think it's traditionally been geared towards students that are interested in college. I mean, look at our logo. It's a graduation cap. But I don't think that we have restricted ourselves to that. We now believe in this idea of multiple pathways, that fellows are able to define what success looks like for them. And whether that is in a 4-year program or a 2-year or something else, we are there to support them. And then finally, why does OneGoal only start working with in grade 11? Why not just offer the program when you start high school? Grade 11 is where we've seen a lot of the greatest drop-off in terms of just like post-secondary success. So there's like freshmen. It would be great to like work with students starting as freshmen. I taught freshmen for the longest time. I love working with freshmen. They are the highest energy, craziest group of students to work with, but they are absolutely fantastic to work with. But we've noticed that the greatest drop-off actually happens in 11th grade. So in terms of attrition, in terms of students that may or may not persist in just high school, whether or not they drop out, 11th grade is a critical year. 11th grade is also an interesting year because you have now completed 2 years of high school. And I always use the analogy of like, hey, it's halftime. No matter what happened during the first half, we got to come up with a game plan for the second half, right? So you might have done really well, and it's a matter of maintaining that. Or it might be like this comeback victory that we have to kind of pull off. So 11th grade is a critical year. A lot is happening during that junior year. You have SATs. You have your last chance to boost up your GPA. You're now seriously contemplating like majors and pathways, and you have a certain level of maturity and self-knowledge that you didn't have just 2 years ago. And so continuing from that 11th grade to your senior year and actually going through the triple A&E process, which, you guys are going to go through that next year, but triple A&E just basically stands for like financial aid, admissions, as well as oh, what's the third A? I think it's acceptance. No, that's going to be admissions as well. I'll get back to it. So it's like financial aid, October 1st, FAFSA, applications, actually doing your applications for your post-secondary institutions, getting in those like acceptance letters, those admission letters, and then the E, the really big piece, is going to be enrollment, like actually following through. And so that's going to be your senior year, and we're going to continue to support you through that AAA and E process. And then also, as you guys know, there's Y1, there's Y2, and finally there's Y3. So Y3 is super important because that is when you are free. You are like leaving the nest. You are now in your post-secondary institution. And so we continue to maintain virtual contact with you guys, checking in on you on 3 basic domains of like social belonging, academic performance, and financial stability. And so if you're really well grounded in those 3, then we see that you have a higher rate of success in terms of persistence. And if you need support in any one or multiple of those domains, then we are here to support you. And so I think that pretty much sums up the interview. I know it went a little long, but hopefully some of this is useful here, you guys. All right, I'll see you in South early.